Welcome to the Artist Spotlight for Runner Radio. My name's Trina Wilcox, and Dylan Lafave is the guest today. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome. Yeah. So tell me about how your music journey is going, all about how it got started. It seems like music, according to your bio, has just been in your blood from the get go. So, kind
Yeah.
of talk about that and what it means to you and your music process.
Well, I think uh ever since I was really young, I've kind of, always been attached to the music in one way or another. And I think I grew up in a very musical family, and it's kind of always allowed me to be myself in terms of the music. And I think when I became an age where I finally realized like I could actually do this as something more than just a hobby or something more than just, singing around my house. It just really inspired me to do something with it instead of just, sitting at home and singing in my room. And as great as that is, I think I'm just really grateful that I get to do it for more than just sitting in my room.
What was that discovery like where you were like, wait a minute, I mean, what was the thinking where it was from, I love doing this and it's just singing in my room, to, oh my gosh, here's what it means that I'm going to change and do something with it. What was that?
So I had a YouTube channel when I was pretty young, actually, and I would do like covers on there like occasionally. And I think all the people telling me like, oh, you're so cute, like, oh my God, you're so good, blah, 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 like kind of, influenced me to, perhaps do something with it. And I also did like theater in high school. So like all the people would be like, oh my God. So I feel like it's more like the people that actually influenced me to do it because I think me as an individual wouldn't have been able to because I was always so afraid of what people would think. So I think the people really did inspire me to actually do it.
Okay, two questions from that. What would
Yeah.
you have done otherwise if you weren't encouraged? And why were you afraid of, you know, the thought? What was there to be afraid of?
Well, I think being a teenager in high school, especially during, this time period, nothing is easy. And I think, as, people get older and as society moves forward, I think it almost gets like worse in a sense, which is horrible. So I think for me in high school, I was afraid of what people would think just because of, I've you know things that these people do, and people aren't the nicest in high school because of so many problems of their own, and whether that's your problem or theirs, it's whatever. But yeah, I just think kids in high school can be mean, and I think that for me was the scariest part. And the first question about what would I have done had I not been inspired, I honestly don't know. I think it's hard for me to look back and think about the things that I wouldn't have done. I like to more think positively in the way that like it did happen. So I'm gonna, think about it like that more. But yeah, I don't really know
Do you
what
have
would
other
happen.
interests that you think that could have come into play, like teaching? I mean, a lot of people, when they have that passion, they will turn to, sharing it with others. What do you think? What were some possibilities?
So actually at the time, funny enough, I was a professional like esports video gamer. So
Okay.
yeah, I thought for a while maybe that would be something that would be, I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but
No, I mean, it's like a dream for many. I mean, that's two
no,
great
yeah.
passions that you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
to
yeah.
like try out.
But apart from that, I think I love, the film industry as well. I think everything about it's pretty interesting. So, had it potentially not been the music, I think something in the film industry would have been pretty interesting.
So you're based out of Canada,
Yes.
Toronto. So you do have, there's a lot that great things come out of Canada. So are you still kind of within reach of film and other things, or are you just completely focused music only right
Honestly, I'm very open to anything.
now?
And I've been, blessed with some opportunities that have allowed me to kind of dive into both those worlds. And I think I'm just so grateful for that. And being right in central, like downtown Toronto, I feel like there's opportunities of every sort. So it's pretty great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your writing process.
Okay.
What is that for you? Is it popping stuff down paper or or making notes when you think of it, or is it dedicated time or a hodgepodge?
Honestly, I would say it's probably both. I think sometimes I'll wake up in the like middle of the night or right in the morning and have an idea and I'll pull up my phone and voice memo it, and it probably sounds horrible, and thankfully no one ever hears it. But I think just so I don't forget what I was thinking and whatnot. But then when I am in the studio, we also dedicate time to it, because a lot of the times I'll come in with like a skeleton of a song, which is kind of just like most of the song, but there's some parts that need to be filled. So I usually like to dedicate the first part of my session to writing, because I think also just getting another perspective is nice. And yeah, I love that part of it. So I would say my process is pretty much both. Whenever I think about it, I'll grab my phone and my notes app and, write whatever I'm thinking. And sometimes it's horrible, but sometimes it's fun.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So when you had that first song completed and you were ready to share it, what was your process like? Were you just like, I want to try to do this completely independently? Did you want to work with a label? Were you open to possibilities? And where are you now in that process?
So when I released my first song, I was like 16. So really I wasn't so familiar with, labels and, versus being independent and stuff. So I think at the time I didn't really know any better than being an independent person and being an independent artist. And as of now, like years later, I think the same thing. Now that I'm more educated on, labels, and I've been offered and I've been this, I've been that. Um, I haven't really wanted to sign. Like I feel like a lot of artists are able to do it independently now, and I figure like why not? Like if I don't need the assistance of a label at the moment, like I don't really think it's necessary. So as of right now, I'm still independent.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
very encouraging for a lot of people. I love that we, right now, that in this time, artists, writers, everybody's got more control than we ever had to share our art. So that's really cool.
Exactly.
What kind of advice would you give somebody that is waiting on the label or scared to put their music out there, like, little trepidatious?
Well, I think I will always just say this, like go for it. Like I personally don't think there's anything to lose other than potentially a few dollar signs, but I think at the end of the day, you can't really not do something. Like I just think do it, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But if it does work out, then great. You won't regret it. And as for the label thing, I think don't worry too much about the labels. I think trying to do it independently is a great idea, and obviously signing to a label is also great. But I think don't not being stressed about like having to sign with a label, because I don't think it's necessarily necessary.
You say in your bio that you've got a lot of stories that have kind of like been
Yeah.
archived in your head. So what's one of the great stories that just always sticks out that comes up in conversation for you that you just love to tell?
Oh my God, there's so many. I think like in terms of the music or like anything.
Anything.
Um, well, hmm, this one's kind of involved with the music, and it kind of discovered my love for singing. Basically, my sister, when she was very young, she would sing all these songs, and I would hear her doing it, and then she would also like post them online, so I would also see them. And behind her back, I would sing the exact same songs and like almost make fun of her in a sense,
Oh,
but like not make fun of her and like because she's a great singer. Like my sister's a fantastic. Like I would just make fun of her and like the way she did like her intro, like "Hey guys," like I would like, and then do
mock
the
her
exact
little
same thing.
sibling.
Yeah, but then funny enough, it like actually she's older than me, but it became more like it became like an actual serious thing by the end of it. Like when people actually started watching me and they're like, "Oh, like this is so," and I was like, "Wait, I'm like mocking my sister. This is so bad." So when people actually were like, "Oh, this is great," I was like, I started feeling bad, and then she eventually found it, and it was, anyways, it would, yeah, it's an okay story. It's not,
No,
yeah,
it's
no,
good.
I
It's
feel like I
good.
should have had a better one.
That's okay. Well, what is your what are you hoping to have happen in the next year, 5 years?
Oh,
Do you
well,
have you thought that far? Or are you pretty
honestly, no.
easygoing?
I'm pretty easygoing. I'm
Okay.
very spontaneous person. Like I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. But I think in terms of goals, I would say just staying happy and continuing to do what I love. I think that's really what matters. And hopefully, I've always kind of said this with my songs that I can make some sort of a difference in someone's life, whether that be one person, or 1,000 people. I just think I love inspiring people and it's like my favorite thing. So I really hope that can continue through these next few years.
Yeah. And one more question as far as being independent and having side hustles too. I mean, a lot of people, I want everyone to realize that a lot of times our dream jobs are not always our full-time jobs. So do you have other jobs that you do on the side? Are you kind of like, it's not always all music 24/7?
Well, at the moment, I do not.
Okay.
But I definitely have, delved into part-time jobs because it's not a cheap thing to do,
Right.
And when you're independent, you have to do it all yourself. So I think yeah, I've definitely done that before. As of right now, no, but it'll
You
probably
never know.
happen again. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing your music with us. Thanks for sharing your time.
Of
And when
course.
you've got more, definitely let's talk again and
Yeah, for sure.
tell people where they can go to find out more about you, your story, and your music.
So I am on every single music platform, and the name is Dylan Lafave, as well as all social media platforms. It's Dylan Music X on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So
All
yeah,
right. Thank you very much.
thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.